Prime Minister that there's no way we can go forward where the Wildlife Act is weaponised, where the Wildlife Act gives certain bureaucrats an opportunity to have a second and third bite of the cake. That's not happening. Watch this space. There will not be any more ability for my opponents to exploit the Wildlife Act, either frustrate, undermine, or drive inordinate costs onto the mining sector. The days of the Wildlife Act in its current form, operations are over. And that is traceable back to that single bloody incident in front of God-fearing Kiwis and Aussies, where I had a situation where part of our own government was doing the opposite of what I was empowered by the Prime Minister to deliver. But wait, it gets worse. I go up to Coromandel and we talk to Oceania, and then I get back to Wellington and I'm told that it's going to be very hard to dig a deep tunnel under the Coromandel Hauraki area, largely because there are some critters, some frogs and lizards and bats and I don't know what else on the surface. Now this tunnel is about 200 metres, Simon, under the ground. And modern engineering, 5-6 kilometres, whatever it is, how the hell you're able to do it and still make money, that's your job, I'm amazed. Then I'm told, well, this might require a special permit. I said, oh yeah, what sort of strange insect lives 200 metres in the rock under the earth? Oh, Minister, it's all the detonations and explosions and other types of activity that causes tremors, quivers, it disturbs the mating habits of the frog. And of course, it flaps. And I said, well, when I was 18 years old at St. Stephen's School, when they said the earth moved, that had a different bloody meaning for us. So at about this point in time, I kind of know that that's the level of absurdity that I, as a politician, trying to grow the economy with my cabinet colleagues, that's being served up. Frustrating as it may be for you, I kind of feel we won the argument. If that is the best that can be served up as to why we're not allowed to develop and further advance our natural resource development. So folks, please believe that Simon and I, and I'll leave the RMA changes to him, please believe we're not de-accelerating. We want to go faster. And if you ask yourself, but Shane, why would you want to take risks and go faster? Just bear that figure in mind what I said to you. In 3 years' time, the aggregate debt of New Zealand will be $1 trillion. Because of the escalating cost of houses, and sure, they're moderating at the moment, and so they should. Well over $350 billion, and Crown debt $240 billion. There is no way, folks, for us as a wee country at the end of the railway track in New Zealand to get ourselves out of that type of trap, then grow. Quarries should all be permissible. Mining should enjoy an inordinate amount of greater permissiveness. And if there's a drama, sort it out by way of either tort or negotiations amongst consenting adults. Regional councils, we have our way. They will not exist after the next election. I do not see a place for them going forward after Simon and the others have fought for the RMA. And local government, there are too many units of local government in New Zealand. And they are creating as a form of dangerous activity, too many rules, too many barriers, too many obligations. And I'm sorry, folks, I'm the sort of minister who believes we can't afford that anymore. So I look forward to more of that fire and brimstone on your behalf. Won't always get it right, but I really think it's important, this is my final point, that an industry needs to see clarity. An industry needs to hear candour. And I hope that the way in which we've been running this agenda is not only frank, but it's lucid, and it gives you a sense of confidence and certainty where the hell we're all going together. And I can tell you where we're going from this industry with your help and my advocacy. We're going dig, baby, dig. Thank you very much. So I did talk to Bridget that we're allowed to have some questions, and I'd strongly encourage to our Aussie visitors, Kiwis, ask any question. I will defer, however, Bridget, anything that relates to RMA to Simon, who's in the audience. He's one of my parliamentary colleagues. So, fire away.
Do you have a bureaucratic containment and funding program in place, or do you plan to have one at the local and central level?
Right, can you answer that question again?
Oh, pardon me. I like your work, by the way. The first question is, do you have a bureaucratic containment, reduction and defunding mechanism in place for central and local government? I'm talking about the coalition, not just your party.
Yeah. So each year by year, sadly we only exist for 3 years in New Zealand, we renew our driver's licenses, but if you would have noticed that in the first budget and the second budget, we are running what's called a fiscal consolidation strategy. We are shrinking the amount of money. It is very unpopular, I've got to tell you, with a lot of the voters. And it does have the impact of often lauding people who do nothing. But that is the trajectory we're going in. And that will lead to a rationalisation in the size of the bureaucracy in key areas.
Yep. The second question is as a follow-up to the first one. The scale of that is as a percentage of the existing bureaucracy, bearing in mind that the previous administration swelled that bureaucracy by nearly 300%. And at the local level as well through flow down.
Yeah, well, I'll just tell you as I see it in terms of local politics, and I think that my colleague here will agree. We are over-governed, over-regulated, and overburdened in New Zealand with subnational levels of government. We need a greater level of permissiveness, so under that, do what the hell you like. And if you offend your neighbour can sue you. But that's not how things have developed in the last 30 years in our country. It's gone down the other directions. So when I talk about rationalisation, which sadly can't be done until you ask the permission of Kiwis and see if they want it, and then in broad measure, they probably will vote for it. And then in relation to central government, as I understand, the key minister is looking at collapsing government departments together so that we get a greater level of focus and more bang for our buck. In the area of fisheries, which is the other highly unpopular area that I have, you think there's anyone more unpopular than you, then go to the fishing industry. We have reduced substantially in the last year and a half the levies that the industry pays to the Crown. I've dropped that. So that's at a practical level, sir, what we're doing.
Thank you, sir.
So, I heard you say something about the Korpu.
Yeah, just wondering if there's any thought of reviewing the no mining north of the Kopuhikuai line.
Right. You're talking about the Dixie line. Yeah. Well, to change that line, to be very honest with you, Simon and I would need to convince the other larger party that they were up for that fight. So you may remember a rather colourful politician called Jerry Brownlee. He's the current Speaker of our Parliament. He was very ambitious, and he was advised by a vigorous young analyst, and his name was Chris Bishop. And in about 2009-10 in New Zealand and the John Key government, they went very, very ambitiously to opening up vast areas of New Zealand, including that line. And then it led to great protests. And John Key, the then Prime Minister, pulled the line back and left it where it is. The protest I had, mate, against me personally,